got a feeling there is no chance they're going to the Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I'm just kidding.
They're still not expected to have over 8.5 wins. They're still not expected to have a winning record. Now, I know things could change for the next 24 hours. I get that. But everyone expected Aaron Rodgers to sign with him. He's going to sign with him.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
The two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results. What?
How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid. The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
18.5 point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
And welcome in. It is in-game live game day on a marvelous Monday evening. Scott Wetzel, Joe Madden for the next 2 glorious hours, right up until 10 p.m. Eastern time, watching, analyzing, betting on the world of sports. Yes, full slate of Major League Baseball. Joe, not even WNBA tonight. No golf, and no UFC, and no boxing like we had over the weekend. It's just baseball, which is actually a beautiful thing. We got our 5 on the line returning. We got SGPs. We got our Black Clouds. We do have all that over the next 2 hours. My partner in crime, Joe Madden. What's going on, Joe? How are you tonight?
We're officially in the dog days of summer, Scott. I love this point of year. It's the point of year where we're all loving baseball. And I tell you, the Boston Red Sox are loving what they're seeing out there. The fans most definitely, because they got 7 runs, Scott, in the first inning on the Cincinnati Reds. I was blown away to see what they were able to do. They had bases loaded before going into the top of the second as well. So the Reds were lucky they didn't get out of that first inning, allowing 10 runs, let alone just the 7. So it's been so far so good for the Boston Red Sox. We'll see if they can hold this lead, but the day's been going pretty good so far. How about yours?
Yeah, listen, that is by far the shocking score of the evening, right? Or is it? Because I must say, you know, I looked at that game, and if you don't know, Chase Burns, this was the rookie pitcher last week that blanked, not blanked, he actually lost the game, but he pitched so great against the Stankies, struck out the first 5 batters, first 7 outs were strikeouts. I mean, it was the talk of the town, right? So this is his second start. And, Joe, you know, it's kind of weird. The Red Sox were big favorites. Didn't make any sense to me. You know, Red Sox have lost 7 of 8. Cincinnati's coming off a nice 2 out of 3 at home. They've won 14 of their last 21. And the Red Sox were like 160, 170 favorites over this kid that you were getting plus 145. And I'm like, man, that looks like 2. And his strikeout total was only 5.5. And, you know, the Red Sox are the second worst strikeout team in all of baseball. And I'm like, this is just like a gift, right? And 99 times out of 100, when you get a gift from the boys in Vegas, what happens? The dude doesn't even get out of the first inning. I feel bad for him. He gave up 7 runs, 5 earned, but 7 runs in total, 5 hits, walked 2, didn't strike out a batter, and like I said, didn't get out of the first inning, got 1 out. I don't know how they knew, Joe, but I'm telling you, those lines didn't make any sense. And lo and behold, the poor guy doesn't get out of the first inning. Go figure.
Yeah. And a pitcher that did get out of the first inning was Max Scherzer, which I didn't know if he would there for the Toronto Blue Jays, but he just did give up 2 runs there at the top of the 4th. So the Yankees took a nice lead here, Scott. They're 2-0 over the Toronto Blue Jays. We are seeing the Jays now plus 250 underdog at home, total of 6.5 in that one. Now, I isolated the Yankees team total in this game. I took it over the 4.5, and I know this has been a team that hasn't been producing those runs at great extent as of late, but I looked at Max Scherzer. I can't trust him out there for the Toronto Blue Jays, and we know we can't trust the bullpen either of the Jays on any given night. So where did you go with this one, and are you shocked to see the Yankees are up 2-0 now here in the fourth?
Chad Chisholm with a 2-run homer for the Stankies. Your boy Judge struck out for the second time tonight, so unfortunately they did hit that 2-run homer. Here's a great stat, Joe, and maybe people would have bet this, but over/under on wins for Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander as we close out the month of June. I don't know if the boys in Vegas would have made a bet like that. They make bets on everything else, right? So, but I'm guessing it would have been, I don't know, 6.5, maybe 5.5. You know, they have none combined.
What?
Scherzer, now he's been hurt, but Verlander's yet to get a win. They have a combined 0 wins. Max Scherzer, who's making $40 million a year or so, thanks to the New York Mets, and Justin Verlander, who's making about the same, thanks to the New York Mets. They did the right thing as far as trading these guys. If you just want to go by wins and losses, yeah, a combined 0 wins for those two guys. We're 3 months into the season. Amazing.
That's mind blowing, Scott. I can't believe that. Wow.
Yeah, it really is. I had the under. I played in the game. Back to your original question, I had the under in the game. I was debating it because Toronto can score some runs. They're a good over team, but the Yankees still 15-2 under even after yesterday's over. So I played the under on that one. So far 2-0. We'll run down all the games, get all the lines, get all Joe's thoughts, my thoughts in the next 2 hours. First up, though, before we do anything else, our 5 on the line, 5 best trends for the rest of the games tonight. All right, we're going to sandwich 3 picks. We're going to sandwich 5 picks out of 3 games, and we're going to get to this. We got you 5. Oh, by the way, last week we finished up a nice positive side of things on 4-1 on Friday, so we're now 197 up and 130 down with 2 pushes. So 67 games over 500. This is documented. We give it out every single day. I know those numbers sound crazy, but it's true. 67 games over 500. So here we go, Joe. 5 down to the number 1 trend. Start with Baltimore. This is a goofy one. This is a Sherapan special. He's been out sick, so every once in a while we got to acknowledge Dave on the program, as we always should. So, Dave, this one's for you. Baltimore 21-8 on Mondays. Texas 1-7 on Mondays. Last time I checked, it's a Monday. So let's go with Baltimore, the better team on Mondays than Texas. Pick them against the Texas Rangers. Game number 2, 4 on our list. San Fran, 4-10. Their last 14 games, 1-5. Their last 6, and that last 6 comes against the Miami Marlins and Chicago White Sox. Joe and I talked about that over the weekend. They are playing horrible baseball right now. So give us, as you see, Arizona plus the 120. Same game. Arizona, 14-6 over last 20 games, including 11-3 their last 14. San Fran's not a great high-scoring team, but we'll go with the over trend for Arizona. So give us over 8, San Francisco at Arizona. You see there. Pick number 2 on our list from 5 down to 1. Seattle, 9-1 at home against the Kansas City Royals. And throw in the Royals are 1-7 their last 8 games coming into this series. This is a pretty easy one. Well, let's go with Seattle minus the 162. I know it's down to 150 and change in some places, but Seattle minus the 162 against Kansas City. I think they win. And that leaves us, Joe, with the creme de la creme, coup de grace, numero uno trend for tonight. 5 on the line, there you go. Orioles, 20-8 under their last 28 games, and Texas, 30-12 under at home this season. Those are some pretty strong under trends. You're not going to get much better than that. And by the way, Baltimore also 13-2 under their last 15 road games, which this is for them. So our best trend play of the night. Under 8.5, Baltimore and Texas, Joe. You're not going to get a better trend game. I'm not saying it's going to absolutely win because we've seen a lot of trends not win, even though they're over the top grade. But that's as good as you're going to get if you're a trend player. So under 8.5, Baltimore and Texas tonight.
This trend is awesome, Scott. This trend exactly plays into where I wanted to take this game already, the under 8.5. You look at both of these teams, and we've got lefties coming out on both sides, and both teams have struggled offensively versus lefties. So I think that under 8.5 is a great way to go. I also took the Nerfy in that game. It's minus 122 for the no runs in the first inning.
Wow. All right. Baltimore, the number one under team that plays on the road. Texas, the number one under team that plays at home. And that's what we had tonight. So watch, we get an 8-7 game, right? I'm sure that'll happen. That'd be just like gambling for that to occur, right? You talk about, not having something happen that's supposed to. We'll talk about that when we come back. Texas yesterday with Seattle. The game went over. This is your bad beat of the year for sure. More coming up in Game Live.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take.
Ka-ching!
Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that ring. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. That's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back. It is In-Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Joe just getting underway. So we got our 5 on the line. In case you missed it, always like to give a little recap real quickly. It's Baltimore Pick'em because they got the better Monday record than the Texas Rangers. We got Arizona plus 120 against San Francisco and Logan Webb. San Fran only 1-5 their last 6, 4-10 their last 14. We're going to grab over San Fran 8 against Arizona. Arizona 14-6 over, including 11-3 their last 14 games. We'll take Seattle minus the 160 or so against the Kansas City Royals. Seattle 9-1 their last 10 games against the Royals. And then we'll grab the under 8.5 Baltimore, Texas, as the Orioles 20-8 under, number one under road team, Texas. the number one under home team, and that's what we have, the perfect storm tonight. So under Baltimore and Texas. So we got SGPs and we got Black Clouds coming up in a little bit. All right, Joe, let's start to dive into the games here. Let's start in FanDuel's order. Why not? We got Philadelphia scored a couple of more runs. They lead San Diego 4-0, bottom of the fifth inning. They're 60-1. You can't do that. 14-1 on the Padres. Over-under is 7.5. The over-under originally was 9. I did like the under. I thought that was a big number. You had the knuckleball pitcher, Waldron, going for the Padres tonight. So you got through 4 plus. So it's a little bit lower now, 7.5. I don't know if I would go that low. So I'm stable with my 9 that I have under originally. But anyways, you want to look at this and bet this one.
Hard one to jump into now. Going into this game, I did look at the Phillies, right, coming in for the first 5 because of Zach Wheeler. We've seen Zach Wheeler really have solid numbers, and I expected him to come out like this, not allow the Padres to get into this game. But once it turns over to the bullpen, we know the Phillies bullpen, it's not terrible here, and I don't want to lay 4.5 with the Phillies, but do I really want to grab the Padres plus a 4.5? I'm not sure I really want to get there, Scott. I agree with you that 9 was a little high, and I did like it to the under. I isolated the Phillies team total though, and also took it over 5.5. So I need a couple more runs. Would I be comfortable taking an under 7.5? I think the juice moves a little bit on the under 7.5 because you've only got 3 runs that you're really playing with. That hits to 7, so that 4th run would push you over that 7.5. And right now the under 7.5 is minus 130. If we see that get down to like a plus 100 or like a minus 105, I'd hit the under 7.5, but at minus 130, I don't want it.
Yeah, me neither. So Bryce Harper is back in the lineup, back from a wrist injury. They weren't sure if he was going to return, but he is back. He's 0 for 2 with 1 walk, so that's good news for Philadelphia Philly fans who are 11-6 their last 17 games after taking 2 or 3 from the Atlanta Braves. St. Louis at Pittsburgh. They're in a rain delay, Joe. They resumed. My bad. Pirates, in fact, have scored a run. 1-0, end of 2, heading to the 3rd inning. I did like St. Louis in this one. They're 9-4 their last 13. I don't know why, but the Pirates always seem to play well against the Mets. And even when the Yankees go out there, they always give them a tough time. So I just kind of threw that 3-game sweep out the window. They scored 30 runs in 3 games, outscored the Mets 30-4. Nobody is that good, especially a last-place team. So first time they've scored 9 runs in 3 straight games since 1999. I thought they would come back down to earth a little bit. Andrew Heaney was on the hill and still is. I'm assuming so. I'll double-check because I know they did a rain delay there. But he's 0-2 his last 3 starts against St. Louis with an ERA of 11.57. So Cardinals basically pick them. I like St. Louis today, and I like them even more, even though they're down 1-0. Still getting them at a nice little number here, plus 162.
Yeah, you got to love that plus money on them here, especially with Eric Fetty coming out for them. I do think he should be nice and strong here versus the Pirates for the rest of it. So we're at the top of the 3rd, only down 1 run. I would grab them plus the 164. Going into this one, I did look at to go over the total of a 9, Scott. So now we're getting a 7.5. The over 7.5 is minus 114. Top of the 3rd, still lots of time to get those runs out of both of these teams. But I'd take a chance on the Cardinals plus 164 and the over 7.5 at minus 114.
All right, that's not too bad. Stankies, we talked about it. Lead your Blue Jays 2-0. Top of the 5th inning, they go. Minus 410 on the Yanks. Plus 290 on Toronto. Over-under is 6.5 now. Yet it was, I played the under to start the game. It was 8.5. I believe I'll check my notes there. But, I just figured one more time, right? I always, even though a lot of people, Joe, will bet a streak and then let's just say it's an over streak. We'll use this case. This case is an under streak. And then once you get it over, then they'll come right back on the over thinking, okay, once the streak is broken, it'll go the other way. I don't think that way. I think just the opposite. They were 15-1 under heading into yesterday. Fluky game. They scored a ton of runs. The A's stink. I like to see, go right back to the under again today. Show me you could get some more runs outside of just one game. So I like the under. Would I do it now, 6.5? I might. That's 2-0 5th inning, and they're still giving you 6.5 is not bad. So I think I would. If you don't have a dog in the fight, I would take the under 6.5 right now.
Yeah, especially the longer. Like Max Scherzer is actually strong out there today, and I know he's allowed those 2 runs, but I expected the Yankees to light him out right out of the gate. So when I came into this one, I was looking at Max Scherzer for Toronto versus Carlos Rodon here for the Yankees, and I expected the Yankees to be able to hit Scherzer a lot more. I did isolate their team total, taking it over the 4.5, and I got a slight plus money. It was like plus 101 for their team total to the over, and I took Stanton and Judge to be able to get those home runs. Neither of them have been able to do so as of yet. I wouldn't jump in on their home runs at this point in the game because of how strong Scherzer has been playing, but we know Toronto's bullpen has every ability to give up those balls from deep. So I'm not too concerned about my Yankees team total over the 4.5. But Scott, I'm concerned about that total if you like it to the over. I know you like it to the under, but the 6.5, with how good Carlos Rodon and Scherzer are doing right now, this could be that game that, we get a total of 5 runs, and maybe all of them, hopefully, for my bet, is out of the Yankees.
Yeah. He's got 63 pitches, or 65 now, actually, as they play in the 5th inning. So I'm talking about Scherzer. So you're going to get, 85 out of him. So you're probably going to get at least one more, maybe through 6 as they're in the 5th inning, and there's only 1 out. So you're going to get 3 runs, or 3 innings, rather, out of that Blue Jays bullpen, I would think, tonight. But yeah, you're right. He's pitched well. 7 strikeouts. He hit a strikeout total, and he's still in there. Wow. Only 2 hits. One, unfortunately, was the home run. But yeah, he obliterated his strikeout total. So little SGP, then we'll head back to the board when we come back. In-game live, game day on the grid continues.
Cam Young at 30-1. I think it's a really nice course for him at the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit, Michigan for him. Wyndham Clark at 36-1. And I also like Alex Noren at 60-1.
My Morency drunken Brett dart toss golf pick, which does win like 2-3 times a year, guys. Insanely enough. But I'm going to say Matt Fitzpatrick.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the #1 player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score in all 3 levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course and OKC, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. It is In-Game Live Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Joe, hour number 1, 3rd segment. You know what we do, 3rd segment and hour number 1, little SGP, same game parlay time. All right, Joe, I'll go first. This is one of those, and to be fair, it's about a 50-50, maybe not quite 50-50, but it's about a 35-65, which in the world of sports gambling isn't actually that bad. That I put a parlay in, and I'm surprised about how good the odds are on FanDuel, and that's the case tonight. I'm going to go with the Seattle-Kansas City game. I like Seattle in the game, minus the 162. I put it in earlier today. It's dropped a little bit, minus 150 and change in some spots. But 9-1 at home against Kansas City. They're playing better baseball. Royals have lost 7 of their last 8, so I'm not sure why the line dropped, but I'll take Seattle. Thank you very much at home. I'm going to go over 7.5 Kansas City, Seattle. Both these pitchers have ERAs over 4, so both maybe could pitch well, but 7.5, that's a small little number. Seattle, one of the best over teams in all of baseball. Kansas City, admittedly, one of the best under teams, but I'll go with the over here. And then I'm going to use Cal Raleigh to hit a home run. He's got 6 straight games without a home run. He did go 8 at one point earlier this year in May, but he's approaching the longest streak he's had without hitting a home run. He's stuck, if you will, on 32. He's due. He's back home. So let me go Cal Raleigh to hit a home run and break that homerless streak. And then if he's going to get a home run, that's 1 RBI. I'll take my chances that there's somebody on base or he gets another RBI. And it's plus money on that one, plus 135 it was. So, and it really bumped it up, but much more than I thought it would. Like without the 2 RBIs, I think it was paying like maybe 480 or so, 5-1. And then I said, you know what? Let me see him get 1 more RBI. That's easy enough. And then it bumped it way up to plus 731. So I'm not going to complain. Seattle, over Seattle in the game, and then Raleigh to hit a home run and then have 2 RBIs, plus 731. Not bad, I don't think.
Oh, I think it's a great parlay, Scott. I can't believe it bumped it up that much. Definitely something I've never looked at, adding the second RBI. So great eye on that one. I'm going to look at the San Francisco Giants versus the Arizona Diamondbacks here. Now we have Logan Webb coming out for the Giants and Nelson coming out for the Diamondbacks. And I do think with what we've seen out of these teams, I know the Giants have had a couple of struggles over the last couple of games, but I trust them more than I do trust Arizona, especially when we look at this going over to the bullpens. And I trust Logan Webb. I like what we've seen out of him. He's got a 2.52 ERA. But we look at the bullpen here for the Giants, and this is one of the stronger bullpens. They've got a 2.91 ERA. And when we look at the Diamondbacks, this is a bullpen that I just don't trust. I do think we'll see the Giants get those runs on them. Their ERA is sitting at a 5.31, and they've allowed 43 home runs. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to look at the Giants straight up on the money line. It's juicy at minus 138, but okay, within the parlay. Outside, I probably would take a sprinkle on them on that run line, but then I'll look at the Diamondbacks team total as well, because I do trust Webb. I do trust the bullpen here for the Giants. I'll take the Diamondbacks team total under 3.5. We know this team has been struggling anyway to get those runs on the board, so that's coming in at minus 113. Then I'm going to look at Logan Webb for his strikeouts. Over 5.5 strikeouts here for Logan Webb, coming in at minus 128. Outside the parlay, with how strong he's been doing in the last 6 innings, I could see you firing this up to over 6.5 strikeouts as well. He, in the month of June, has posted a 1.85 ERA. He's been strong at getting those strikeouts, and I really do think he's going to limit the bats, be able to get those strikeouts. So the over 5.5 strikeouts for Logan Webb. And then I'm going to look at Devers here, Scott. He's got to get that run today. It's coming in at minus 160. I do think Devers has every ability to get that home run too. So outside of the parlay, the home run at plus 330. Inside the parlay, I will put it in as just the run. So 4 legs here. The Giants on the money line at minus 138. The Diamondbacks team total under 3.5 runs at minus 113. Logan Webb over 5.5 strikeouts at minus 128. And Rafael Devers for that run coming in at minus 160. Altogether, it's coming in at plus 405, Scott.
All right. I don't got a good read on that game. I've lost so much with San Fran over the weekend that I'm kind of soured on them right now, but they could happen. Logan Webb's a terrific pitcher. Pitches a little bit better at home than it does on the road, but it's not like his road numbers are awful. And Arizona's kind of stuck in mud, right around 500. They've been that way for the most part the whole season, really. So then hopefully Rafi gets the run for you. So plus 405, not bad. Yours is 405, mine's 7 and change. Let's hope they both cash tonight. Quick break, UnderdogFantasy.com, the site we go with Rob Donaldson, our good buddy here on the grid.
Sam Young at 30-1. I think it's a really nice course for him at the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit, Michigan for him. Wyndham Clark at 36-1. And I also like Alex Noren at 60-1.
My Morency drunken Brit dart toss golf pick, which does win like 2-3 times a year, guys. Insanely enough. But I'm going to say Matt Fitzpatrick.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the number one player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score in all three levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Dagnall has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I do not believe Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course and OKC, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
And welcome back. It is In-Game Live Game Day on this Monday evening. Scott and Joe, it's hour number one up until 10 p.m. Eastern Time. We got wall-to-wall baseballs. What better guy to bring in than Rob Donaldson? UnderdogFantasy.com site where over 5 million users and go either higher or lower. So check it out, UnderdogFantasy.com. What's going on, Rob? How are you tonight, bud?
Hey, man, I'm doing well. I'm coming off a Sunday sweep of going 6-0 in Major League Baseball. And yeah, it's been a nice little hot streak over here for the past about 10 or 11 so days. And yeah, I mean, other than the heat this past weekend in the Midwest, it was a really fantastic weekend.
Well, that is fantastic to hear. A 6-0 Sunday, there's nothing better than that. And then rolling into today's action, where did you go with the Padres and the Phillies, if anywhere? Right now, the Phillies are at a 4-0. We're the top of the seventh. We got a total of 5.5. Are we going to get a couple more runs, Rob, or what are you expecting in this matchup?
Well, you know, now that the Padres bullpen actually got into the fold and Matt Waldron's no longer in the game, that's kind of where I saw the attack angle line through that first 5 innings when Matt Waldron was on the bump. Because, one, you never really know when a guy is on a 1-year layoff of not having pitched this season, how he's going to perform. But especially so when that one guy who's on that 1-year layoff is a knuckleballer and going up against a lineup full of guys who are hitting the ball extremely hard right now. And, predictably, the Phillies hung 4 runs up on him early. And I think that it really wouldn't surprise me if this game ends 4-0 because the Padres bullpen from start to finish is actually very, very strong.
Mm-hmm. Stankies, as I like to call them, 2-1 over the Blue Jays now. Rob, top of the 6th inning they go. Over-under is at 6.5. Both guys, Rodon and Scherzer, both pitching well. What do you like in this one?
Yeah, and unfortunately, Max Scherzer was rolling around like really, really well, and then he actually tweaked. It looked like a shoulder this past inning, and he got a mound visit from the trainer, and now he's out of the game. So that kind of threw a little bit of a wrench. I'm hoping that the Jays bullpen, right? I mean, it's again, but yeah, I'm on the under 8.5. I still feel good about that number. I probably wouldn't buy in at 6.5. Maybe honestly, you want to take it over and just take a shot on the Blue Jays bullpen rather. Having a little bit of an implosion factor, which they sometimes can be prone to happen. And going up against the Yankees, definitely a tough lineup. But yeah, I wouldn't really feel confident in taking that under right now.
Yeah, it's almost looking like the Yankees on that run line looks kind of attractive, -1.5 at -112 with them already up a run. But looking at the Boston Red Sox versus the Cincinnati Reds, Boston got off to a hot start, getting 7 runs in that first inning. They've cooled off though now. It's the bottom of the fifth. They've allowed the Reds to put 4 runs on the board as well. So if you're playing an over, you've already got their live numbers of 15.5. Rob, we've got the Red Sox still a huge favorite, but can they hold on to this lead, or do you think we should be jumping in on the Cincinnati Reds?
I think we should be jumping in on the Cincinnati Reds, if I'm completely being honest, because the whole kind of MO when you're going up against Garrett Crochet or even Brian Bayo or some of these kind of high-end Red Sox starting pitchers who actually are pitching pretty well right now, get them out of the game, get to the bullpen and do your work there. And obviously Garrett Crochet was supposed to go out there and handle a 7-run lead. That did not come to fruition. He's going to be out of this game sooner rather than later if he isn't already. And when you're talking about it from that aspect, a 3-run deficit for this Red Sox for this Red Sox bullpen, sort of handling 3 or 4 innings. I feel like that's a pretty big danger zone, and 3 runs really isn't a whole lot when you're talking about a bullpen that's been given that up at propensity.
Yeah. Red Sox just had an inside the park home run. That would be a goofy bet. I'd be dumb enough to bet it. I probably would. If these sites Rob said, well, a guy hit it inside. Forget about it, just a home run. We got to make it more difficult. It's got to be an inside the park home run. You probably get more no-hitters, if you really think about it, per season in Major League Baseball than you do inside the park home runs. I bet you do. So 8-4 Red Sox now lead the Reds. And this is, if they post an over-under on this one, this has got 15-14 written all over it. A's in Tampa Bay, Rob, now tied at 4. Oakland, Sacramento, Las Vegas, whatever you want to call them, jumped out to an early lead. Devil Dogs have tied it though at 4. Where do you stand on that one? Bottom of the 4th inning.
Yeah, speaking of bullpens that are not to be trusted and are currently active earlier than you would have liked, the A's are now dipping into their bullpen here in the bottom of the 4th inning with only 1 out. And if you want an over spot, the Rays lineup has been fantastic. The A's lineup is extremely active. And Rasmussen, he's already kind of getting his pitch count rung up there too. I think this game could end at like a 13 total run final or a 14 total run final. I don't know where that live line's sitting, but I see a really good value there in a live play.
Yeah, 14.
Yeah, I could totally see. Yeah, I could totally see that getting in the 15s and even way above that, even before the 7th or 8th inning at this rate.
Okay, so we have the Pirates versus the Cardinals right now. Pirates coming off a good weekend versus the Mets. They're up 1-0 versus the Cardinals. This is a game I expected a couple more runs in for sure. The total's dropped to 6.5. It's +104 to the over. Or you could look at the Cardinals maybe to come back. They're +1.5 on that run line, -132. Where'd you go going into this, Rob, and where would you go live now?
I really thought that Andrew Heaney was going to go out there and deal. And so I really liked a lot of his, unders in terms of earned runs or hits allowed. Right now, actually, I'm looking at it. He has a no-hitter rolling out. And I thought that was going to be a real dangerous spot for the Cardinals because when you look at their lineup and who is really doing the damage right now, it's Lars Nootbaar, Alec Burleson, Nolan Gorman, and Brendan Donovan, all lefty bats that are really kind of carrying this lineup. And when you throw a lefty pitcher who keeps balls on the ground, that's a little bit of a kryptonite right now, I think, for the St. Louis Cardinals offense. And Eric Fetty, to his credit, he's gone out there and shoved. He got out of some danger early. And so right now, I think an under is a fantastic play, or just kind of monitor Andrew Heaney's pitch count and take the Pirates up until he's about to get pulled.
All right, speaking of unders, you have the number 1 under road team in Baltimore playing at the number 1 under home team at Texas. It is 0-0. I mean, right? This has got 8-7 probably written all over it, right? So Baltimore at Texas, over under is 6.5. Bottom of the 2nd they go. Basically pick up. Well, Texas a -142 favorite, a little bit more than that. So would you like this one?
Yeah, it's crazy that this is almost like an insignificant game right now in this portion of the season, because coming into the year, these were 2 darling rosters and they've kind of gone in very weird directions. And for the Orioles, I feel like they're actually playing the better baseball despite having a significantly worse record. And Patrick Corbin, he's been very, very strong. I think he actually can be trusted to be a competent starter as the season rolls on here. But when you're talking about the Orioles bats, I'd rather bank on that lineup being on my side than the Rangers lineup, which is Corey Seager. Can he do it or can he not? If not, they're not going to score any runs. And for that reason, I really do like the Orioles just to win this game outright.
Okay, the Orioles right now plus 112 on that money line. Nice price you're getting for them there. Now we got the Arizona Diamondbacks home dog at plus 126 versus the San Francisco Giants. I always love a home dog, Rob, but I can't trust the Diamondbacks today, especially against Logan Webb. But can you?
I cannot. I'm rolling with the Giants on that first 5 run line, and a large part of it comes down to, hey, Logan Webb is like Mr. Consistent at this point. Maybe he's never gonna win, a big time award, and that's unfortunate because he's always kind of in that mix of a top 5 candidate for a Cy Young. But my goodness, he's just consistently going out there rolling. He knows how to pitch out of jams. He knows how to prevent guys from getting on bases, period. And when you're facing a tough Diamondbacks lineup, that's really what you need, is that double play ball factor that he has under his belt. And I get it, the Giants offense is anemic, and it's a really disaster thing to watch, even with Devers in the lineup. But if they can score 2 runs through those first 5 frames, I kind of feel good about them being up maybe 2-1 or 2-0 after that's all said and done.
All right, quick thought. We got 30 seconds on Seattle and Kansas City.
I like the under. Give me the under 7.5. George Kirby's a little bit of a roll of the dice, but Michael Wacha is always strong, and I think both guys go deep into this game.
Yeah, it's down to 7 on FanDuel. I like the over, but that's got written all over it. So with Kirby's capable of giving up 8 runs all by himself. So Rob, great job as always, man. Check out the website that he's part of, UnderdogFantasy.com. We'll do it again soon. Thanks, Rob.
Cam Young at 30-1. I think it's a really nice course for him at the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit, Michigan for him. Wyndham Clark at 36-1. And I also like Alex Noren at 60-1.
My Morency drunken Brit dart toss golf pick, which does win like 2-3 times a year, guys. Insanely enough. But I'm going to say Matt Fitzpatrick.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the #1 player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score on all 3 levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course and okay, safe, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. It is in-game live game day here on the grid. Thanks to Rob Donaldson. UnderdogFantasy.com is the website for all his action. Red Sox, they're going to blow this thing, Joe. You know, we always make fun of managers because they take out the pitchers, before we think they should be taken out. They're so conservative with the pitch count and everything else, right? So Garrett Crochet was given a 7-0 first inning lead. He doesn't have it tonight. He just doesn't. Not saying he's an awful pitcher, but it just, there's certain days you just don't have it, right? So he gave up another home run. He's trying to give the Reds every opportunity in the world to stay in this game, which they are. Red Sox put another run on the board with inside the Parkers. Now it's 8-5. He's only thrown 78 pitches, but he's given up 7 hits, 5 runs. He does have 8 strikeouts, but he doesn't have it. Second time, third time around the rotation here for him. And the Reds are, they're a couple of hits away from really right back into this game. Whereas, 9 times out of 10, I'm yelling at the manager, keep the pitcher in there. Now I'm yelling, get him out. Get him. He clearly doesn't have it. If you want to conserve pitches, don't take him out when he's throwing 8 innings of shutout baseball. You take him out now when he's getting lit up tonight. If this was 5-1, he would have been taken out of the game. But because the Red Sox score 8 runs, they're going to keep him in the game. Doesn't make any sense.
No, it doesn't. But as a better, Scott, take your fandom out of it. Let's look at this as a better. I need him over 8.5 strikeouts, so leave him in a little bit longer. But if they're finding him out there to dry, we could take the Cincinnati Reds at plus 560 on the money line, or plus 2.5 at plus 2 or 120. Right? We have ways, right?
Yeah.
If they're leaving him in, which they are.
Yeah, and just walked another batter. I would be all over that, Joe. I'd be all over the 16.5. Rob said that as well. You got 13 runs. You're in the top of the 6th inning. But there is a real good chance we're going to get 4 more runs in this game as long as Crochet is out there. So, I would say I would do the 560. I would take that whole top board on FanDuel. 2.5 runs plus odds, 6-1, and give it the over 16.5 as well. I think at least one of those is going to hit. So
we could see all 3.5.
Was that an adjusted strikeout total for him, or was that his real total?
Yeah. We were getting 8.5 at plus 125, and if you took the 7.5, you had to lay minus 160, minus 170. So I took the 8.5, right? Because I can't lay one of it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I noticed they're doing that more and more, Joe. Right? They're giving you the lower number, but they're making it ridiculous, like 170, 180. You can't bet that. So then you got to go to the adjusted total, and then they'll give you the higher number and plus odds. I guess, if you're the book, they're not idiots. So I guess more people. I know I wouldn't. Doesn't sound like you would either. But more people would bet the lower number with the bigger odds versus the higher number getting odds, because people are putting them in parlays, maybe. If I'm putting in a parlay, I would. That's probably it, right?
Yeah, and that's probably exactly what it is. But for me, it kind of defers me a little bit, Scott, because I look at those strikeouts and then I look at the juice, and then to go to to scroll down and do the old numbers when I'm looking at a whole bunch of things at once, it kind of is one of those things that I have to remember to go back, right? Because then I'll make notes, and then I'll go in and I'll look at if I think he can then get 9, because I originally looked at that number and expected, him to get the 8, and then it takes additional research, right? As a sports bettor, we're always digging into those numbers and going, where else can I go? So I think it's probably cost them a couple of bets that I've ended up forgetting to go in and put in for that plus money, where I did feel confident after. But you know how many bets we get in a day, right? How much we're going over. If that original number was there that I wanted at a decent price, if they gave me the 8.5 with plus money instead of a 7.5 with the negative money, I'm more likely for myself to go, okay, I'll take the 8.5. That's where it's sitting, and I'm happy with that. Whereas when I see it highly juiced to the over to 7.5, it takes me, another 15, 20 minutes to work out if I actually want to get there. So I think it costs them a little bit for some people.
Yeah. I'm amazed. Andrew Heaney. In fact, I was going to ask Rob about that, but we wanted to touch on all the games. But he did say he was expecting Andrew Heaney to pitch well tonight. And I almost fell off my chair because it's why? I really wanted to ask that, but we wanted to hit all the games. He's 3-7. He's got an ERA of 4.48, which isn't horrible, Joe, but his last 2 games, he's allowed 14 runs over 8 combined innings. 7 runs last time out against Milwaukee, 7 runs the time before that out against the Detroit Tigers. And even 3 runs the time before that against the Cubs. So, but 14 runs in 8 innings. I mean, he's been atrocious. And I say that because that's why Rob's the genius that he is, because right now he's throwing a no-hitter as they enter the top of the fifth, and I'm sitting on an over, and it doesn't look too good right now. I mean, you would think this thing would change, right? I mean,
it's got to.
4
It's
to
the
third innings now.
Cardinals, right? We're going to go over 5.5 at the end of the day, even if it's lopsided, right? Like, even if we just start to see the Pirates getting those runs here, but I think the over 5.5 at +110 is a great way, because this one was what, 8.5 or 9 when I believe it was 9 going into it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was. I'll have to check my numbers. I think it was 9. So, but yeah, top 5. You get the Cardinals almost at 2-1 too. There's at least one out. More than likely, there's 2 outs. Ooh, they got it locked. Ooh, that's interesting.
Okay.
Nope, nothing. All right, plus 220 now in the Cardinals. I'll wait to.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, when it's locked, something should happen, Scott.
I know. I don't know why they got to lock it. Why can't they just flip a switch and just change it? They get you all excited like something big is going to happen. Like in hockey, when they lock it, at least you generally get at least a power play, if not a goal. Baseball, it's just like that, and it's locked again. I think they tease us. You know, I think they're listening now and they're just teasing us. They're going to lock it now every 5 seconds. Nothing is happening, FanDuel. I know it. I got the game on, so we don't have to lock it. Just give us the odds. There you go, plus 230. Thank you, FanDuel. 4.5 now is the over/under. Minus 166 though.
It's too low.
You're gonna get 5 runs.
You're gonna get 5.
You got 5 runs, right? I
mean, parlay piece with the A's and the Rays over 12.5.
Let's get a parlay partner with that. Black Cloud coming up next as well.
Cam Young at 30-1. I think it's a really nice course for him at the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit, Michigan for him. Wyndham Clark at 36-1. And I also like Alex Noren at 60-1.
Mike Morency, drunken Brit dart toss, golf pick, which does win like 2-3 times a year, guys. Insanely enough. But I'm going to say Matt Fitzpatrick.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the #1 player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score at all 3 levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course than OKC, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. It is In-Game Live Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Joe closing out hour number 1 with our Black Cloud Play of the Day. I don't like doing this. I won't say I don't do it, Joe, but I don't honestly like doing it, but we all do it. And that's bet on a bad line, but we're going to do it today because we don't have that many games. And it's just sometimes it's just too enticing. It just is. Where we're going to go, Scott. Best play of the day, which is if you're $1 better, you put 2, maybe even 3. It's so overwhelming. And I will tell you, we are 23 games over 500. We gave out a WNBA winner on Friday night. So we're 50 up and 27 down. George Kirby, you see it there, 18.5 outs. Little juicy, minus 150. I'll double check and make sure that's still the odds, but it was this afternoon. So what's so enticing about it, Scott? Well, he's got 7 starts this year, Joe, and 18.5 outs is 6 innings and 1 out into the 7th, right? 3 times 3 times 3, 3. So 17 into the 7th inning. So he's only pitched into the 7th inning 1 time in 7 starts this year. And you may say, well, maybe that's just a fluke, Scott. Well, I look back last year, 32 starts. He only pitched into the 7th inning 6 times. So in 6 times last year, only 1 time this year. So in 39 combined starts, he's only pitched past the 6th inning, which is what you need to do to get this to be a winner if you bet the over, only 7 times. Wow. I don't know what I'm missing. I know Kansas City stinks. I get that, but that's I will take those odds absolutely. Again, lay a little juice. I'll update that here in a second, and hopefully the numbers have come down a little bit. But 18.5, he's not in my world pitching into the 7th inning. Give me the under. It's rare when a guy gets an out or 2 into an inning. Generally you'll get yanked after 5 or after 6. So if you want to root this on, you root for pitch counts. Then you just root for Kirby to throw a lot of pitches, and then he won't go past the 6th inning. So, but I love this play. Looks too good to be true. It does, but under 18.5 outs, George Kirby tonight.
Yeah, you could almost ult it, Scott, because I'm with you. Like, we saw him versus the Angels. The Angels, he went 7 innings. So that was 21 outs, right? In that game in which they won 3-2. But then you saw him then versus Cleveland, 15 outs. He went 5 innings, 15 outs versus the Chicago Cubs, 18 on the dot versus the Twins. So I just don't see it either. I was really shocked to hear you say 18.5, because I thought when you were going to say his outs, it would be 17.5. And still, I would like that to the under. So 18.5, it looks too good to be true. I'm going to tell you on it. I don't know why the books would give us 18.5.
Yeah. And the under, they lowered it a little bit. It's minus 144, so you don't have to lay that much from the minus 150. But it really, that's what I mean by, like, if you're going to make a line, if some book said, all right, Joe, give me the out total for George Kirby tonight, and you looked at his line scores from this year and you looked at him from last year, and you just wouldn't say, I don't think 18.5. You're right, it's probably 17.5, or 16.5. Let's see him go through 6, because that's where I would say 90% of all pitchers are. Most are 17.5 or less. Every once in a while, you'll get a guy that gives you 18.5, but betting wise, it's generally 17.5 or lower. Why they're giving 18.5 tonight with him? Maybe there's some goofy stat against the Royals. Starting pitchers go 6 innings plus all the time. I don't know. I do know they don't score a lot of runs. I get that, but a lot of times it's not runs. It's the pitch count. That's what it is. So I'll take a crack at it.
You got to. Waka's number is 17.5. His over is minus 128. His under is minus 102. And when we look at Waka versus Chicago White Sox, 18 outs, versus the A's, 16, versus Texas, 18, versus Tampa, 18. So we're only getting a 17.5 for him. He's gone over that in 3 of his 4 starts, but we're seeing the opposite on the other side. Did they get it wrong? Like, that's what I wonder. Did they get it wrong?
I know, right? You would like to think so. And he doesn't throw 100 pitches. He's only thrown 100 pitches 1 time. So he's generally in the 90s, which is a lot, but 90, 85, 101, 96, 95, and the first 2 when they're just starting in the 70s. So yeah, Yeah, but put it in a parlay if you don't want to lay the minus 144, but I think that's a good bet. Really do. All right, George Kurtz, join us next. Watch the baseball with him coming up.
We're going to go with Cam Young at 30-1. I think it's a really nice course for him at the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit, Michigan for him. Wyndham Clark at 36-1. And I also like Alex Noren at 60-1.
My Morency drunken Brit dart toss golf pick, which does win like 2-3 times a year, guys. Insanely enough. But I'm going to say Matt Fitzpatrick.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the #1 player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score at all 3 levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course and OKC, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Hi, welcome back. It is In-Game Live Game Day here on the grid. Hour number 2 of our 2-hour extravaganza. Full slate of baseball, Scott and Joe, until the top of the hour. I do want to throw one quick NBA note at you, as the four-letter networks reported that the Memphis Grizzlies have extended Jaren Jackson Jr. on a $240 million 5-year contract. It's just... I bring it up only because who cares, Scott? It's just Jaren Jackson Jr., good player. Don't get me wrong. $50 million a year. You know, we all bitch and complain about the Juan Soto deals and the Ohtani deals, and you get guys like Jaren Jackson making $50 million a year. It's nuts. These NBA players, the money they get, just crazy, just crazy. So let's bring in a guy who despises the NBA because of that, Mr. George Kurtz. Talk a little baseball with George. What's going on, George? How are you tonight?
I don't despise the NBA. I used to like the NBA back in the 80s.
You let alone watch it and like it. Come on. Well, back in the 80s.
The old times, Hollywood Henderson, that Terry Bradshaw couldn't spell cat. You spot on the C and the T. Back in the day. Yeah, that was a pretty good line by Hollywood Henderson, who ended up snorting his way out of the NFL and out of oblivion back in there. I think he won the Texas lottery twice, Hollywood Henderson. So I guess I don't know. Texas eyes did shine down on him.
It's amazing.
Yep. For sure. Okay, your Yankees are in action. They're against my Blue Jays. I said in the green room to you, don't worry, it's my Blue Jays. They won't bring the runners home, but they did. They are now tied up 3-3 apiece. We're the bottom of the 6th. It looks like one out here. Springer up to bat for the Blue Jays. They do have runners on first and third. So right now they're minus 215 on that money line. Your Yankees are plus 164. George, how do you think this one plays out?
Well, I took the Blue Jays, and I think there was the fourth or fifth inning in game to win the game, mainly because Rodon was at 87 pitches, which means he was not going to come out for the sixth inning. And I know the Yankees bullpen is short. All right, they lost Fernando Cruz, oblique injury. And they were going to need at least 6 outs before they could get to Luke Weaver and Devin Williams. So it was going to be a problem, and that's obviously what's happened here as they brought in Mark Leiter for the sixth inning, and you knew that wasn't going to go well. Mark Leiter is pretty much gasoline on the fire, and now they're bringing in some of their better relievers here, but it's a little too late here. So pregame, didn't have a great feel for it. You know, Rodon's been very good this year. Scherzer, first start back from injury. I never liked that at all here. No Bichette for Toronto. That's probably the only reason why I didn't bet Toronto pregame was the Bichette injury there. So I left that alone, but in game I took the Blue Jays.
And then apparently Scherzer left the game with a shoulder injury. Our last guest was on. I didn't have a chance to look at it. Is he hurt again, George? I don't know if you were watching the game or not.
Watching the game, they didn't make any announcements here other than the basics. So we don't know how it was. Once again, was he tired for first start back in a while? Is it something serious? I mean, let's face it. The Blue Jays deserve everything they get with Scherzer, right? Why just sign him in the first place? Did anybody not see this coming, that he was going to be hurt all year long? I mean, hard to feel bad for these teams. Same thing with the Giants and Verlander. You're signing a 40-year-old plus pitcher who hasn't been really all that good in a couple of years, and as you know is not going to make anywhere near 32 starts. What are you expecting? Like I said, buyer beware, and they did not beware.
I told Joe real quickly, those two guys, I told this to Joe earlier, they have a combined 0 wins. Verlander and Scherzer. We're closing out June, and those two, George, have a combined 0 wins. So you're right.
I would not have seen that coming, by the way. Okay, I didn't think either one would be all that good, but 0 wins, and we're, like I said, we're more than halfway through the season. This is game 84 for the Yankees tonight here, so yeah, I would not have seen that coming. But listen, they're both Hall of Famers, and that's great here. But what were you expecting here? And the Blue Jays just scored a couple more runs. There's more gasoline on the fire with the Yankee bullpen, although they are getting somebody thrown out at third base. Bad base running by the Jays.
Okay, going to be interesting to see where that line opens up as everything is locked. The Phillies just finished it off over the Padres, winning that one 4-0. But we do have the Cincinnati Reds and the Boston Red Sox here, George. Top of the 7th. This total is sky high, 16.5 plus 124 to the over. The Boston Red Sox are up 9-5 in this one. Do you think the Reds can come back, or what would you do if you want to live bet this one?
Well, pregame I had the under. That was pretty much trash after the first inning, right? Everybody had the under with Crochet and Burns. Burns was it 5 earned runs in a third of an inning. Boys and girls, if you don't like math, I guess turn your ears off here. But that's 135 ERA, not 1.35, 135. Not very good from Burns today in his first road start in the major leagues. Here is what it is. There, I think if anything here, we got 14 runs here, top of the 7th. They keep switching it up on me here. It was only, you need 3 more runs. It was 16.5. It was minus 174. I kind of still like the over here. Runs are coming here. I don't think Cincinnati's going to give up. They generally don't here. So I like the over, but I'm not going to pay that price. And I want to see what they took it off my board here for whatever reason. Now it's gone. So now I have no answer for you, but I would have taken the over.
Yeah. Yeah, it's 16.5 now. I got it 16.5 at plus odds, plus 124. So 3 more runs, top 7. I agree with you. I think the runs are still coming. So A's and Tampa Bay Devil Dogs, as I like to call them, tied at 4, top 6. Tampa Bay minus 192 for whatever reason. The A's at plus 148. Where'd you go with this one?
Yeah, this one got to sweat out a little bit, but it's sort of work. I mean, I can't complain, right? Because I was on the Rays pregame. They were down 4-0 once again early. We go, oh, great, here we go again. But they came back. It's 4-4. I'm on the run line here, and I'm on the over. So both are still in play here. We'll see how it works out. I got to think as the game goes on, better for the Rays. Their bullpen's very good. The A's better bullpen. Not so much. So, like I said, split. So far, I'll take a split out of this game, but better than what it started off being. I thought, okay, here we go again with Boston. We're going to get knocked out the first couple of innings here, but Rays, nice little comeback here.
Yeah, definitely a nice comeback for them. The Baltimore Orioles are having a strong start here versus Texas Rangers. They're on the road. They're up 3-0 right now, George. Live total of 8.5. The Texas Rangers at home are plus 2.5 on that run line, plus 116 is the value you're going to get, or they're plus 360 on the money line. Is there anywhere you'd go live with this one, and what did you do going into it?
Pre-game on the under. Did not take a team either way here with was it Corbin versus Trevor Rogers. Rogers has looked really good. Like he's figured things out here his last couple of starts here, and is once again doing it tonight. And we know the Rangers, they can't hit, especially at home. I think I talked with you two over the weekend here. That the barbecue in Texas, it is the worst hitters ballpark in Major League Baseball. That's not me saying it. That's what the numbers tell you. It's the worst hitters ballpark there. And as I told you, the Rangers did not design it to be this way. They don't know why it is. You know, is it a part of the lineup? But the opposing hitters don't do all that much here either. So I'm on the pregame under here. Rogers and Corbin. Patrick Corbin and Lucas Giolito. I mean, really, just shoot me. These guys are pitching so well all of a sudden. They're killing me here. But I've learned my lesson. I am not betting against them anymore. I just took the under in the game.
Mm-hmm. San Fran, Arizona, starting in a little bit, about 40 minutes or so. Webb against Nelson.
Well, I mean, we're going to like Logan Webb, right? We're going to like the Giants. They're struggling, right? You got swept by the Marlins. You got some issues here. They're struggling. Arizona having their issues as well here. What I want to see here is Arizona take the lead, all right? And then let's attack the Diamondbacks bullpen. That bullpen is horrific. It's a dumpster fire. All right, that bullpen is that bad. Hit it a couple times over the weekend. Once they're up, hit the bullpen. That bullpen's going to blow the game. That's a great in-game bet for the against the Diamondbacks.
George, great job as always. We're out of time here. We got to get out a little bit early this first segment, but appreciate a couple minutes with you as always. George Kurtz, SportsGrid Radio TV host and radio host, and we'll do it again soon. Thanks, George.
My pleasure. Good luck, everybody.
All right, there you go. So we got games getting underway in a little bit. Joe and I will come back. We'll run those two games down, and then we'll update the scores. Good news if you're sitting on the under Toronto and the Stankies. We still got life. More coming up.
Enter into the magical world of McLuck.com, where even the smallest of spins can win real cash prizes. Adventure into over 1,000 of the best Vegas-style slot games. So what are you waiting for? Unlock your free welcome offer today. Join the fun where winners play and players win.
Two guys that can do it all.
Too much electricity this morning.
This is a good time. We're having a lot of fun.
I had to do a triple take. Ka-ching! Why? Because of parity.
I didn't mean to offend.
Yeah, it's not going to happen.
Load management is a dirty word.
Let him rip.
You know what? Circumstances provide the results.
What? How do you do this once?
Oh, Donnie, you got such a good show there.
A network that is booming.
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
We're going to go through every single thing, and I've got a great team behind me that's going to help me get the job done. I want this to be the place that people come to. There is going to be an energy to game time decisions that you will feel night in and night out. We are going to hit every single one of those markets that you need to know about. We will have everything at our disposal, and we will use that to our advantage. There is not going to be a better place, I promise you, than Game Time Decisions. I'm Kevin Walsh. Tune in to Game Time Decisions weekdays on SportsGrid.
The game is on. The stakes are high. But the action isn't just on the field.
He's rearranging that rim. Get it inside!
SportsGrid's in-game live. Your ultimate second screen experience.
A little flyer, couple of thoughts.
18.5-point live line.
Every prop, every play, every day.
Anything can happen. It's complete chaos.
It's smarter to be on SportsGrid.
Did you know sportsbooks tend to draw up tighter bet lines for events that get even more bettors, like championship games or major matchups? My tip? Try betting on less popular sports. You might have a better shot at beating those odds. Now, go get lucky. See you in Las Vegas. Let's get lucky.
All right, welcome back. It is In-Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Joe, as we continue along hour number 2. Got a no-hitter watch, albeit early on, but what are we in the 5th inning? 2 out, and I'll keep it nice. A mediocre pitcher, Albert Heaney, is throwing a no-hitter as they bat in the 6th inning with 2 out, 3-2 count. Does he have a perfect game? I think he has a walk. Let me double check. It's amazing. You always check for no hitters, Joe, but I really never check for the perfect game, which is really the key. He's got a walk, sorry, so it's not a perfect game. So Fetty gave up 7 runs. So much for that St. Louis bet, thinking that he was going to pitch well. That went out the window pretty quickly. So Eric Fetty was Eric Fetty tonight. We just need Albert Heaney to be Albert Heaney. So there you go. We spoke it into existence. Andrew, Albert, whatever. It might as well be Fat Albert for all I care. His ERA is for Fat Albert. So 7-0, but we have the no-hitter busted, Joe. Someone just got a hit for the St. Louis Cardinals. How about that?
Okay, so Cardinals got that hit. I'm watching the Toronto Blue Jays right now. Fisher is out on the mound, and I tell you, if the Yankees don't hit him and hit him hard here, I'll be shocked, because I watched him walk one of the guys, and he just looks under so much pressure out there. I don't know how many innings he's pitched this season, but he looks pretty green out there on the mound today, Scott. So I'm not sure if it's the heat, if it's really warm in Toronto today. But yeah, he's feeling the pressure. So 5-3 lead here for the Toronto Blue Jays. We do have a runner on first, and he actually just struck out the second guy. So good to see Fisher. He got a strikeout. So it's still 5-3, runner on first for the Yankees.
All right, I'm sitting on the under 8.5. We still have hope, as I mentioned, we went to break. It's 5-3, and Toronto had a couple of runners on. It looked like they were really going to post a big number. They didn't. So it's top 7. Chances are pretty good you're going to get another run, which I'm a little surprised, Joe. They're only offering 9.5. You know, the Yankees are down 2. The carrot is out there dangling in front of them. They have to score 2 in order to tie the game. So top 7, you got a runner on. Even if they don't score this inning, you still got 2 full innings. Well, that's a lot of love for the under, right? It's almost like they're begging for over money there. You know, I got hope because they're giving us such a low number. If I didn't have a dog in a fight with these 2 bullpens being in play, especially Toronto's, I probably would take a stab at over 9.5 plus 102.
Oh, absolutely. That's where you'd have to go if you didn't have a dog in the game, for sure. And I think just the under 9.5 was what we've seen. And especially with that juice, there's no way I'd lay. Under 9.5 at minus 136 is just way too expensive there. So we're going into the bottom of the 7th. We did make it out for the Toronto Blue Jays of the top there. So we'll see what the Blue Jays are able to do. But this team's bats are hitting as well tonight, Scott. So we'll see if New York can quiet them here in the bottom of the 7th.
All right. Baltimore 3-0 over Texas. You see this all the time in these Texas games. I don't know why, but I've said it before. Bet Texas over first 5 and then under for the game. And, man, I'm telling you that combination has come out just so many times this year. So top 4, the over-under is back to where it was to begin with, 8.5. But Baltimore scored 3 early. I think it was the 2nd inning. So it'll kind of settle down there. We'll take a little flyer on Texas, 4-1, Joe. Well, I tell you what, I know it's 3-0, but you're the home team. It was basically pick 'em or so to start the game, and you're getting 4-1 on the Rangers. Can the Rangers make any comeback? Grab them plus 2.5 runs at plus 116. You want to take a little flyer on that?
I'd take a flyer. I definitely would take a flyer here because we know the Texas Rangers, even though their bats have been colder, I think they have every ability. It's only 3-0. It's not like they're right out of this game right now. So I would take a shot. They're plus 2.5 on that run line at plus 116. I think it's a really decent price there to grab the Rangers to just, get a run. Keep it tight there. So Patrick Corbin's still in this game for them, of course. It's only the top of the 4th. This game seems so young, Scott. I thought we were actually deeper in this. I was going to look and thinking we're in the 6th inning, not just the top of the 4th here.
Yeah. It's a slow-moving game for sure.
Mhm.
One game I didn't have a good feel for A's in Tampa Bay. They're tied at 4, 8-2 under, but that's already going to go over with the 9th run being scored here eventually. Oakland 5-18, last 23 road games. I'm not comfortable laying monster odds on Tampa Bay, which they were today. They are playing great. I mean, they're 10 games over 500. One of the surprise teams we'll talk about in a little bit, our 5 best surprise teams. So not a good feel. A's worst run differential in the American League, minus 142 runs. 142 runs they've been outscored this season, the worst in the American League. So without having a dog in the fight, Joe, for me, I wouldn't lay the buck 170 on Tampa Bay. I don't want to lay 10.5 over at minus 158, which it is. So this is kind of a stay away game for me right now.
For myself, I would look at the run line. So laying the 1.5 on the Tampa Bay Rays on the run line at plus 260. I look at the bullpens here and the differences. Going into this game, I did take the Rays team total over 4.5. It was coming in at plus 100. So we need one more run for that to be able to cash. They've been strong versus the A's, but it was the bullpen that really put this bet into place, because we look at the A's bullpen, and this bullpen has a 5.87 ERA, while we look here at the Tampa Bay Rays, that bullpen has a 3.79 ERA. So I expected, a couple runs allowed by the Rays in that the last couple innings here, but for them to be able to really do some damage on the bullpen here of the A's. So I do think they have the possibility of winning this by 2 runs right now, even though they're tied up. I'd look 1.5 at plus 230, Scott.
All right. Good news, Joe. Red Sox lead the Reds 9-5. Crochet is out of the game. Went 6 innings, gave up 7 hits. More importantly, he struck out 9. You got your 9th strikeout.
That is great news. Plus money to the over 8.5. So definitely look for that for him next time too. I can't believe they left him in long enough, Scott. That's
I know. This is like a great example of 1,000 I could give you of how strikeouts don't correlate, as crazy as this sounds, to how well or bad a guy is pitching. Like, he was awful today. We'll break it more down when we come back, and yet he got a strikeout total. Go figure. More coming up.
Cam Young at 30-1. I think it's a really nice course for him at the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit, Michigan for him. Wyndham Clark at 36-1. And I also like Alex Noren at 60-1.
Mike Morency, drunken Brit dart toss, golf pick, which does win like 2-3 times a year, guys. Insanely enough. But I'm going to say Matt Fitzpatrick.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the #1 player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score at all 3 levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course than OKC, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Joe, hour number 2. Yeah, just going over some of the baseball scores here. And, Joe, we left off with the Red Sox game. And it is so true. It really is, as far as the strikeouts, which I follow. I know you follow as well. Not necessarily the outs, but the actual strikeouts. And I can't tell you how many times we had a game like we got with Garrett Crochet, right? I mean, he ends up getting a strikeout. Not only getting it, but it was a monster number, right? 9. So he gets his 9 strikeouts. So you think, okay, he pitched great tonight, right? Not really. I mean, in fact, no, he didn't. He gave up 5 runs, 4 earned, but still, I don't count. I do count runs as earned runs. I know a lot of people don't, but listen, you're on the mound. You get the guy out. And 7 hits, got lit up. He walked the batter, gave up a home run. And yet he still got his strikeout total. Like, if I would have given you those numbers without giving you a strikeout total, I think most people would say, well, he didn't get 9 strikeouts. No way. But it's kind of a weird thing, right? You can get your strikeouts, but still somehow or another get lit up. It's very bizarre.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So I'm happy he was able to get there, but I don't know if I would have left him in the game that long, Scott, because you're right. He was getting lit up out there. He gave up too many runs, and they should have pulled him out quicker. I'm glad that they didn't, though. So, but yeah, definitely looking at some of these pitchers that go into the games where, they've got numbers of 4.5 and they don't have great ERAs, you definitely have to look at what they've been able to do in prior games with those strikeouts, because a lot of them can still go over it like we saw Crochet do today.
Yeah. A couple games here starting in about 10 minutes or so, Joe. Let's run those down. We'll start with Kansas City at Seattle. 4-7, Michael Wacha on the hill. 1-4, George Kirby. Wacha ERA over 3. Kirby's at 5.40. They're really giving you 7 as an over-under. I don't quite understand that. Maybe that's got sucker written all over it. But I like the over. Seattle, as we mentioned before, 9-1 at home. Last 10 games against Kansas City. Royals come into town, number 2 under team at all the baseball, 51, 32-1 under, so 19 more unders than overs. Maybe that's why it's 7, Scott, maybe, including 7-1 their last 8. But Seattle is a monster over team, 45, 34-1 over. Raleigh hasn't hit a home run in 6 straight games. His longest home run streak is 8. Told you that before. I like Seattle laying $1.60 or so, and I do like the over. I think we're going to get some runs, and you're getting a halfway decent number at 7.
Yeah, well, firstly, the Yankees just got a solo home run, so just wanted to let you guys know that. The Toronto Blue Jays are still up, but it's a 5-4 game. But the Kansas City Royals and the Seattle Mariners, this is an interesting one, Scott, and I went back and forth with that total, and I just didn't know which way to go. I expected this one to be an 8.5. When I first looked at the pitching matchup here between Wacha and Kirby, I thought, okay, this should be an 8.5 total. So when I saw it was a 7.5, I went, okay, why? We look at Kirby, he's got a 5.40 ERA in his last 7 starts, and he's actually allowed more hits than he's pitched innings. He's allowed 38 hits in 36.2 innings pitched. So I don't have a lot of faith in him. He has brought that ERA down in the month of June to a 3.54. And then we've got Michael Wacha on the other side, strong ERA at a 3.66. And he's been able to limit those runs out there. But I do think the Mariners and the Kansas City Royals should be able to clear a 7.5. So the Kansas City Royals have had their struggles. So have the Mariners, but I like the Mariners at home. I just kind of went, for me, I got to stay off it, except I'll look at Bobby Witt Jr. I do think Bobby Witt Jr. can hit George Kirby here. His home run prop tonight is plus 400. He's got 11 home runs on the season, and 3 of those 11 have come over, last 2 weeks. He's got 3 of those 11. So I'm looking for him to come out nice and strong, hit Kirby, and that's where I'm going to put my money at plus 400. I'm so weary of this total because it's a 7.5, even though I thought we'd get an 8.5, Scott. So I had to stay off it.
Yeah, it's actually down to 7 now on FanDuel. 7 for Wacha and Kirby. Oof. All right, San Fran and Arizona. This is a tough one. This takes my throw pitchers out of the window equation. It's a 2 test for me tonight because I do like Logan Webb. I think he's a terrific pitcher. But this San Fran team is just so bad. I like Arizona. I'll take them plus 126 tonight, Joe.
Yeah, and I've got to roll with Logan Webb here. In the month of June, he's just been way too strong, posting a 1.85 ERA. He's thrown at least 6 innings in every start in those as well. I would alt his strikeout 6.5. You're going to get great plus money. And yeah, let's go Giants.
All right, there you go. We're all set. How about some hockey talk and some more baseball talk coming up next?
We're going to go with Cam Young at 30-1. I think it's a really nice course for him at the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit, Michigan for him. Wyndham Clark at 36-1. And I also like Alex Noren at 60-1.
My Morency drunken Brit dart toss golf pick, which does win like 2-3 times a year, guys. Insanely enough. But I'm going to say Matt Fitzpatrick.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the #1 player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score in all 3 levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course and okay, safe, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
All right, welcome back. It is In-Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Joe checking out some baseball stuff. Got some hockey notes to get to here in a second. Just to update the scores, Stanky's hit a home run. I'm guessing it wasn't Judge, so it didn't help you there, Joe, but it did ruin our under 8.5. Kind of figured it would. So 5-4, and now they're giving you 11.5. That's why that 9.5 they gave you. See, every once in a while they give you a bad line, and I'm not saying this is definitely going to hit, because it is still 5-4, but the Yankees got a couple of runners on, and the 2 runs were there. Like, it was a needed 2 runs. So I thought that was a pretty good bet. So it's 5-4, but the original 8.5, that is shot. Red Sox still 9-5. They're batting bottom of the 8th inning with a couple of runners on. So looks like they won't blow that early 7-0 lead. We did have to sweat it out a little bit. A's and the Devil Dogs still tied at 4. Pirates still throwing a shutout. Andrew Heaney throwing shutout ball, 1-hit baseball, up 7-0. And Baltimore still 3-0 over the Texas Rangers. And now that over-under is down to 6.5. That's why I said kind of let that stuff breathe a little bit. You got to survive a little scare early on with these Ranger games. But, man, from the 3rd or 4th inning on, the bats just go silent for both teams. So those are your scores right now. Pittsburgh, Joe, is a little bit of a surprise. I put together a list, my 5 most surprising teams. And while the Pirates aren't on them, what they're doing, recently anyway, is pretty good, indication that any team can be halfway decent for at least a little bit of the time. So my 5 surprising teams this year, Detroit's not necessarily in order, but I'll give you the 3 ones that are pleasantly surprised and then 2 that are negative. Detroit, to me, is a surprise. They're 53 and 32, 21 games over 500. I know they made the playoffs last year. That snapped a 7 straight season of losing records, 7 years in a row. So they made some progress last year, and I thought they would be pretty good this year. I didn't see them, Joe, being 21 games over 500. But you know what? I believe in them. So that's the second part of this equation of these surprising teams. Would I continue to bet on them? I would. I wouldn't like 2-1 with them. I don't have that much faith in them. But this is not a fluke. I think they're going to win that division. They'll probably win it hands down. And I know you brought it up over the weekend. There's a bet out there who's going to have the best record, and it's basically the Dodgers or Detroit. And you're getting odds with Detroit. So they're a big surprise for me. I didn't think they would be 21 games over 500.
Yeah, and you're getting great odds with Detroit, and that's the crazy thing because the Detroit Tigers, where was that one, Scott? I think you're getting what, plus 750 yesterday with them?
It was something like that. Yeah, I remember you saying it. And they're right there with they're 53 and 32, and the Dodgers are 53 and 32. So they're tied for the best record, and you're getting monster odds with them.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So
yeah, it's definitely a surprise. I agree. They're plus 280 now for the American League. Wow, that's dropped a lot today.
Yeah, they're still getting decent odds. Tampa Bay's another team. They finished 2 games under 500 last year. That followed 6 straight winning seasons, but I thought last year was kind of like the precursor of what we were going to get even worse this season. Mm-hmm. And yet here they are 10 games over 500 playing tonight. I did not see this team being 10 games over 500. Baseball fans, give me 3 players on the Tampa Bay Devil Dogs. I mean, God bless you if you can. I mean, but all they do is win, Joe. It's amazing.
Yeah, they're playing really strong right now. I'm impressed with what we've got out of them, in their last 10 games, taking out what's going to happen tonight. They've been able to go 7-3. If they can continue to go this way, this team has every ability to really make it hard in the AL East for the New York Yankees.
Yeah. How about San Francisco? A little frustrated with them right now, losing 3 straight to Miami and then 2 or 3 to the White Sox. But they're still 6 games over 500. They've had basically every season be a non-winning season. 7 of their last 8, they had one that was 500. So, but still, 7 of their last 8 have been non-winning seasons. And you look at their lineup. There's not too many guys that I would take, except for Yastrzemski, just because his uncle Carl was my favorite all-time player. But I didn't see this team being 6 games over 500.
They have to find out a way to win on the road, Scott. You look at their home-road split, and they've been great at home, going 25-17. That road record, though, 20-22. So the Giants definitely have to find a way to get it done at other opponents' ballparks because they're just not going to be able to have a winning season if they're not getting those wins out there on the road. So that's disappointing for me. I do think adding Devers is a great addition. I know that he hasn't been that huge impact that we would have expected for the Giants right out of the gate. I'm hoping he is tonight. I'm hoping he's able to hit that home run, at least get a run on the board for us for the same game parlay. But I do think the Giants, they might be sneaky as we go into the postseason, Scott.
Grand Slam Red Sox. So if you played any over that they posted, as we told you, it went away. I knew you could just sometimes watch these games and just see the ball's flying out tonight at Fenway Park. So it's 13-5, 18 runs, and they're still not done. Texas is another surprise team. This is on the negative side of things, Joe. They won the World Series 2 years ago. Lineup is second to none. Seager and company, it's filled with all-star after all-star, and they can't hit their way out of a paper bag. 41-43 entering tonight's play. I thought they would be 6, 7, 8 games over 500. I have them winning the division. I really thought they would make another run towards the World Series. I really did. I did not think they would be 2 games under 500.
I didn't either, right? Like the Angels right now are sitting above them just in the standings. So if the Angels are sitting above you in the standings, because the Angels are sitting 41-42, so the Texas Rangers 41-43, sitting just below them. I'm shaking my head at this team. Another team that's struggling majorly on the road compared to at home. Texas Rangers on the road are 17-25. You look at that home record. The home record's good. It's 24-18. But again, if you can't win on the road, you're not going to be able to get anything done. So yeah, it's bad. It's really bad for the Texas Rangers right now. Like, you look at the A's, and they're the worst team, of course, in the AL West, 34-52. But come on, the Texas Rangers aren't that much above them for those wins. 41 versus 34. They got to get something going.
Yeah, Bruce Bochy, manager. They got a good manager and everything. Very, very weird. Very, very strange. And this might be the strangest. The Atlanta Braves, 7 games under 500. You're talking about a team that has been over 500 for 7 straight seasons. And obviously the history of the Braves. I did not see this team being 38-45. That is just amazing. They started out 0-7. It is 500 baseball since then. Even if you threw out the 0-7, 500 baseball for the Braves is a surprise for me, Joe. So I didn't think there's no reason if they have 7 straight winning seasons. Well, why would you think why would you think they would be this bad? But they are a bad baseball team.
Yeah, they really are. I can't trust their bats right now. I can't trust their pitching right now. So am I shocked they'd be here? Yeah, absolutely. You said it. This is a team that we normally can trust. I don't know even what to do with the Atlanta Braves. I faded them tonight, and we'll see. Actually, sorry, I faded the Diamondbacks tonight, but we'll see what the Atlanta Braves are able to do. I don't know, Scott. They're going to be kind of a stay-off team for me over the next little while, or bet against them. I just won't be able to put my money on them.
All right, so there you go. Those are the 5 surprising teams that I had for this year so far this season. Keep an update on some of that stuff. Red Sox do lead 13-5, so we got that still 7-0, 4-4 with the A's. Baltimore 3-0 still over Texas. So we're holding on to that under ticket there. And top of the 9th they go. Jays and Yanks. It's 5-4 Toronto over New York. How about some of the hockey deals? We'll talk to Cam Stewart. He's coming up. But Mitch Marner real quickly to the Vegas Golden Knights today, Joe.
Oh, absolutely amazing for the Vegas Golden Knights. Mitch Marner, as long as he doesn't bring any issues, I often wonder how much drama he can cause off the ice. But yeah, 8 years, $96 million for him. So great pickup.
That's the difference. Yeah, that's the difference between hockey and the NBA. Cam Stewart coming up next. We'll talk about it.
Cam Young at 30-1. I think it's a really nice course for him at the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit, Michigan for him. Wyndham Clark at 36-1. And I also like Alex Noren at 60-1.
My Morency drunken Brit dart toss golf pick, which does win like 2-3 times a year, guys. Insanely enough. But I'm going to say Matt Fitzpatrick.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the #1 player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score in all 3 levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course and OKC, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
right, welcome back in Game Live. Game Day here on the grid. Scott and Joe, final hour, taking over at the top of the hour. Cam Stewart, Gabe Morency. Cam joins us now, as he always does at this time. Cam, I'm going to lead off with a little hockey, believe it or not. Big trade in the NHL. Mitch Marner, I think people kind of thought this, technically being traded. He was to the Vegas Golden Knights, gets an 8-year, $12 million a year contract extension. Your thoughts on that?
Well, I can tell you one thing. The Vegas Knights were a good team before with Mitch Marner. I see 10-1 on a book, not plus 950 on FanDuel to win the Stanley Cup. Why not? Mitch Marner is one of those guys. Like, despite Joe brought up a good point, though. He pissed off a lot of people in Toronto just with a lot of things that went on, family getting involved in things. There's always drama with this guy, but he's a great hockey player. You can't take anything away from Mitch Marner. He's a great two-way player. Wish he'd shoot a little bit more, but now look at Vegas. Like, look at the guys they got on this team. And the Leafs, we talked about it. I wanted them to find a way, creative salary cap stuff, kick around. But I knew, and Gabe and I talked about it on our show, we knew he was gone. Like, this is the one guy. They couldn't keep Matthews and him. They signed Nyes today to a huge deal. He is the future of the team. He's my favorite player on the team. He's a great two-way player. But Mitch Marner in Vegas, think about this too. Scott, he doesn't have to deal with the Toronto media. Less pressure. Yeah. You go to the Golden Knights games. Fun. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to do well there. I don't think he's got a family now. So I'd say before, like, hey, anybody can get into trouble with Vegas, but if you just take it like a regular job and do your thing, like, this guy's going to be great. He doesn't have to deal with a million media members, the pressure of Toronto, that area. It's just one of those things. Like, I thought he might go somewhere else, but Vegas was my second or third choice. But yeah, he signs with Vegas, and what can you say? The Golden Knights get great, but that Western Conference now continues to get stronger. Look at all the great teams in the West. Like, it's so difficult. Like, Joe's Calgary Flames even are getting better, but what the hell are they going to do against Vegas, Colorado, Edmonton? It's a nightmare. Like, you almost want to stay in the East because you have a little bit better of a chance there with less teams that are amazing. But he'll do very well in Vegas, and I'd be very, very scared. I'd look at futures on Vegas because if Mitch Marner stays healthy with the guys that they have on that team, he does it all, Scott. Like, he's a great player. He got over 100 points. Like, he's just one of the better players in the league, and Vegas will really love him.
Yeah, he definitely is, and he definitely got a lot of hate being in Toronto. I don't even understand why so much from the fans and from the media. But another big signing, Brad Marchand signing a 6-year deal with the Florida Panthers. I'm impressed that Florida was able to keep him. Are you?
Yeah, I am. And it was just a good fit. Like, I mean, we talked to people. They thought he might go back to Boston and his career as a Bruin, but look how good Marchand was for these guys in the playoffs, right? And the thing about Florida is, like, they have grit, and then they have a guy that just played great for them. He was one of the better players, like, next to Bobrovsky and Bennett. Like, you could have said Marchand was the third best player on that team when they won the Stanley Cup. Everyone said he was coming to Toronto. I think Marchand hates Toronto, to be honest with you. And the fans, like, it would have been nice if he would come because then he'd actually be on the team, but he loves beating them. I could tell you that. So, hey, good on Florida. Again, I don't know. The Leafs sign Nyes, but I'm looking at all these other guys, and you get a little bit scared right here, Joe. And the Panthers are the Panthers. Like, they could be right back there again. You know how hard it is to repeat. I didn't even know if you could do it. Like, if you are a 3-time Stanley Cup winner in today's day and age in the NHL, like, that's almost insane to me. Winning back-to-back is insane, but if they do it 3 times, but Florida's damn good. They still have the ponies there, so I'd be very, very concerned if I was the rest of the Eastern Conference.
Yeah, most definitely.
What are we doing in baseball tonight? I'm waiting for this Blue Jay Yankee game has been amazing. It felt like a playoff game the whole time. So right now it's 5-4. The Yankees actually do get one guy on. We have 2 outs in this game, minus 3,000. If the Yankees rope a double down the middle and tie this thing up or anything, that's almost insane. But we do have 2 outs in the 9th inning. I'm with you, Joe. I'm on the Giants. Don't really love the price. It's kind of at my threshold, but I like the San Francisco Giants, minus 156. I'll do a smaller play, minus 1.5, plus 116 on my FanDuel account. And I think the Royals could be live. I'm going to take them plus 1.5 and plus 154 on the money line. So that should be a lot of fun. And we have early baseball on Canada Day tomorrow. Jays and Yankees already got a lineup. Gossman's pitching against Fried. That should be a great game. Leaning under 8 in that baseball game as of now with 2 of those great pitchers on the hill. But tonight's game has been really entertaining.
What'd you have, Cam, in Kansas City, Seattle?
I like Kansas City, actually, Scott. I'm going to take a shot with the plus 1.5, and I'm going to split it right down the middle. Yeah, I don't have a problem with Walker. I just think the price is a little like
the Mariners are good, but like that, like it's minus 260 now. Maybe I'll even wait again, but that's a lot. That's just ridiculous in my opinion. Like the Kansas City Royals, I know I expect a little bit more, but do you really want to lay that kind of number with the Mariners? I don't, but I'm on the Giants. I'm going to take both the run line because they're on the road and Kansas City. We'll see what we got there. And I told Joe already the under 8 in the Toronto Yankees game. I'm going to hit that. We'll have George Kurtz on Sports Rage later on tonight to talk about a huge series between Toronto and New York.
Did you do anything with it?
Go ahead, Joe. Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, I was going to say, what did you do with any Wimbledon action today? I see Alcaraz got taken to 5 sets today. How about that?
I haven't dipped in yet, Scott. I was freaking out yesterday because I had like a really good week in golf. Like I'm looking at the leaderboard going, I got here it is. This is my Thor Bjornsson and then an afternoon nap. And this afternoon nap, it's like the easiest putt to get in the playoff. I'm like, what are you doing? And then I didn't have Chris Kirk, but it was just one of those situations where I'm like, come on, Gracerman. And he missed like 3 putts. He lost on the 6th playoff hole. So I did do very well, but Scott, it could have been epic. Like winning like 4 or 5 grand would have been really nice heading into the summer. But hey, that is golf, as we know. And it's one of those situations where you don't really want to hedge because the other guy's younger, but only one guy wins the tournament. That's why we talk about matchups and everything else. I think the Blue Jays just beat the Yankees 5-4. Big win for them, and we're back at it Canada Day tomorrow. By the way, Joe, happy Canada Day. But I'll see you tonight. I'll see you tonight on the show. I could have wished you happy Canada Day tomorrow on 4th of July later on in the week. Wetzel, I don't know what else we're going to do tonight. I will bet Wimbledon, but you know what it is, Scott? It's one of those things like me. I load up on golf, and then I do my accounting, and then I'm thinking, okay, and I'll bet a few baseball games, and then I'll dip in and go bananas. That's the whole thing. I'm not ready to go yet. I got to, you know how it is, right? But let's see that you're right. It could have been a big upset there, and there will be a few at Wimbledon. Trust me.
Yeah, that would have been monstrous, and he would have lost that one. So
huge.
It's got to be either Sinner though, right? Do you give the Joker any shot?
No, the thing with the Jokers, I think he'll get deep and then get knocked out. It is Sinner. Sinner's the real deal. This kid's awesome.
He's amazing. Cam Stewart.
Cam Young at 30-1. I think it's a really nice course for him at the Rocket Mortgage in Detroit, Michigan for him. Wyndham Clark at 36-1. And I also like Alex Noren at 60-1.
My Morency drunken Brit dart toss golf pick, which does win like 2-3 times a year, guys. Insanely enough. But I'm going to say Matt Fitzpatrick.
Sports Rage tonight, only on SportsGrid.
I do believe that SJ now is the #1 player in the world. The things that he can do from the point of attack, offensively and defensively, his ability to drive downhill and score at all 3 levels. And the thing I like most about this young man at 26, he's so humble. He's so humble. And that speaks to the whole culture of OKC that Sam Presti and Mark Daigneault has built. Humble team, folks.
Betting above the rim, only on SportsGrid.
No way that I'm betting on the Cleveland Cavaliers for any reason whatsoever.
No.
Ever. Like, when they had LeBron James, it was a different story. I think Spider's great. He's no LeBron. I don't see him carrying them to a title. And I don't believe in the Knicks at all. The Knicks never get it done.
Pharrell Coast to Coast, only on SportsGrid.
Kevin Durant, at the age of 36 years old, after 17 seasons that he has played in the NBA DRS, is now on his way to H-Town.
I don't think it's a great move. I wanted him to go to a ready-made championship team full of a veteran roster and see if he can ring chase that way. Not to go to an organization on the come-up that if you just stay the course, and also, what better blueprint do we have than just staying the course and okay, safe, right?
The Early Line, only on SportsGrid.
Welcome back in Game Live, Game Day here on the grid. Thanks again, Cam Stewart, Cam and Gabe at the top of the hour. Always nice to talk a little pucks here, Joe. And I tell you, one of the surprises, I know you talked to Cam about it, Florida, when everything is said and done, they were able to keep all their guys. Amazing. Even Marshawn, as we were talking in the break, I mean, how does a 37-year-old get a 6-year extension? I mean, we were talking about how, all right, he might have to settle for a 1-year deal. Then it's like, nah, he'll get 2. And I remember saying to some other folks, no, there's going to be a team that's going to give him a 3-year deal. They're going to overpay. They'll pay the extra year to get him. And now we hear today he gets a 6-year deal, $5 million on average a year. Wow. If you're a Bruins fan, as I am, or if you're in the Bruins organization who didn't want to pay him, they're probably saying, man, we weren't even in the ballpark for what this guy ended up getting.
Oh, absolutely. And did they overpay for the length of time? Maybe 6 years is a little bit too much, but I'm pretty sure if you were Brad Marchand and his agent, they had every ability to ask for that long of a contract, right? Like, I don't think he would have settled for a 3-year contract anywhere, not if he was pushing for that 6 years. And they gave it to him. Maybe he doesn't play all 6 years with Florida. Maybe they buy him out, but I'm impressed and I'm happy for him because at 37, this should be his last home, right? Play with Florida
Right.
and then be done. Right?
Yeah, I'm sure it is. 43. I mean, this is probably one of those where he's asking for $8-9 million a year, and they said, "Well, listen, cap wise, we just can't do it." So you want $24-30 million for 3 years? I tell you what, we'll do. We'll give you $5 million for 6. And and that's how you get around it. I'm sure the thinking is he's not going to be playing when he's 43. But it's like, if you want to sign me, I want $30 million. Maybe, yeah. Who knows, right? I mean, maybe if they protect him. He's 37.
Okay. He'll
be just turned 37. Oh, Ovechkin. 39, 40. I think he is. Let me double check.
39.
I forget which
You're
guys
right.
are
39.
39, yeah.
Yeah.
So he's still going strong. I will say that, right? So maybe you put him on a third line and you protect him. Don't ask him to do anything too crazy. Preserve him for the postseason. But
I don't know. With how he played out there, we saw him in the playoffs, right? He played like he was late 20s, right? He looked absolutely amazing. He partied like he was in his late 20s. Maybe he's found a good recipe for staying young. That's for sure.
Yeah. What do you think about Marner going 8-year deal, $96 million?
Yeah, I'm happy for him. He deserves it. He is a great player out there on the ice. I'm excited for Vegas. I think he will bring a lot. I just worry about what kind of drama Mitch Marner does bring. I think he's one of those players that it just kind of circles him. So we'll see. We'll see if he gets along with all the teammates. I really hope so, because I do think he's a great player and he deserves to have a great time in Vegas. A great time in Vegas for sure. So
we all do. Is this the end of Toronto? Is the beginning of the end for them?
Oh, it's always been the beginning of the end for Toronto. Toronto can't win anything, right? They can't get past the playoffs. And yes, I say that as a Calgary fan. So everyone always comes at me and says, well, when was the last time Calgary made it to the first round, at least for so many times? And yeah, I hear it. But Toronto, man, it's hard for their fans. I do think they need to shake up that core, though. And I think Cam made such a great point about Matthew Knies. Matthew Knies, signing him up, he is the future of the Toronto Maple Leafs. And I think you look at him there and he's just fantastic. He's going to be that difference maker on that team. And he's so young. Signing him, locking him into a longer contract is just beautiful. So I think Toronto needs to make a couple more changes. We'll see what they're able to do. I think Austin Matthews is overrated, and I'd get him out of town sooner than later, Scott. He's fantastic regular. He can't play playoffs.
Vegas's odds dropped from 10-1 to plus 950. So it's a small little move, nothing crazy, but small enough but at least there was a little change. Baseball board, one last check, Joe, before we hand it off to Cam and Gabe. A's have scored 2 in the top of the ninth. They now lead the Tampa Bay Devil Dogs 6-4. Tampa Bay does have a runner on base. Everything is locked there. Still 7-0 Pittsburgh. Texas scored 2. It's 3-2 bottom 6. So now we got to sweat out that under in that one, and then no score in the late game. So what are you hoping to get from these games?
The late games, I'm looking for the San Francisco Giants to be able to pull it off. They're minus 122 right now on the money line, and I'm rolling hard with Logan Webb for over on his strikeouts.
All right, there you go. We got SCP with Seattle. We need some runs. We need a Cal Raleigh home run tonight. Joe, great job as always. We'll be back tomorrow night, 8 o'clock Eastern time. Cam and Gabe coming up next.
Here's a tip. Some machines and online games have higher average payouts than others. Want to try to maximize